Okay, so suck is a strong word. I don't really think I suck at Dark Souls, but my journey to self-improvement in this game is one that took way longer than the average person's. It took about 6 months of on-again, off-again playing to beat the Bell Gargoyles for me, and that amounted to 9 hours of gameplay. Compared to the best Dark Souls fans, my skills are not the best, and sure, it might be fair to say I suck, even if it is mostly just caused by inexperience. I'm not the only one who sucks at this game, and that has started the discussion of the series potentially including an easy mode for less experienced gamers to get them started playing the game in a different way. As a part of the target audience, such a decision would likely be made for. I think that's a horrible idea. Dark Souls should not get an easy mode. One of the things I and many other people enjoy about Dark Souls is that it abandons a lot of normal tropes from video games. Nothing is so straightforward as going into a menu and pressing an option. Sure, the necessary accessibility options not related to gameplay are there. You can adjust the brightness or audio there, but in Dark Souls, basically every gameplay feature has a lore reason. You need souls to level up, you need humanity to get more healing items, you need embers to upgrade a weapon. Those are all things you could just do in other games, but Dark Souls changes the way you do it to have a lore reason behind their existence. It makes the game unique and connects you to its lore in a way that blends it seamlessly with gameplay. So a simple menu with an easy option, it'll be fine, but it could feel a little jarring and break some of the immersion in the game, considering how profoundly the game makes video game tropes work within the world. This is why some people say Dark Souls feels like a game from another universe. All the fundamental tropes of video games are shifted just slightly, which gives you this uncanny feeling. Easy mode breaks this. Now, admittedly, that was one of the weaker points in this video, because yes, we can find a workaround around this. Perhaps an NPC you have to get to tempts you with an easier game for a different ending, or maybe something else is sacrificed. There are some potential options. Sure, fine, I wouldn't be offended if something like that happened, but there's still lots of other reasons why I don't think that'd be the ideal situation for the series going forward. Another great example of this would be the existence of Dark Souls' online features. They could be a potential hurdle for an easy mode ever coming into existence, because the online features would have to be disabled for an easy mode, or only let easy mode players invade another easy mode world, right? It's another thing that could be possible, but once you think about it, the adjustments you would have to make to online would be pretty clunky. Could you not summon players who are in normal mode to an easy mode world? Or would they just shift to easy mode? Then wouldn't all their items be way too overpowered, or would bosses do more damage to them but less to easy mode players? I'm not even an online player, and I can see how this would require a lot of clunky adjustments to even function. Maybe online mode would just have to be disabled for easy mode players, but I don't think they like that. The point is, it's pretty clunky. Anyways, please temporarily forget about what summons are for 5 seconds in 3, 2, 1. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if Dark Souls already had a mechanic to make tough bosses more manageable for new players? From a gameplay perspective, summons function almost identically to an easy mode, to the point that I feel an easy mode would be redundant in Dark Souls. In case you didn't know, summons are characters who can be summoned close to a boss arena to help you with the fight. Bosses can become much easier and more manageable once they have another target to deal with, and the summons the game give you usually do a decent amount of damage to them. Summons don't make it so that you have a perfect 100% shot at the boss, because you still do need to learn the boss's patterns and what works against it to beat each boss, but they do make it more manageable. Also, summons cost humanity as to not make them completely overpowered, but you do need to be smart with how and when you summon them. Humanity isn't too hard to get though, especially once you get the Lord Vessel, and your average player will definitely be able to make use of them. You can also summon your friends if you play on online mode, and depending on how good your friends are at the game, that can make it, really easy. Anyways, now that I've given you all these ways of getting around extreme difficulty, do you see the futility of an easy mode? Just use summons if you really suck so bad. And if you don't have humanity, grind for it. Now look, even if you use summons, Dark Souls can still be quite frustrating, especially if you try to play it as any other game. But it's balanced around this difficulty, and there's a serious amount of intent within it. You can easily tell from playing the game that the parts that challenge you are meant that way, and the triumphs you make over them are deliberate. Even the bullshit parts of the game have a reason they were made that way. They knew what they're doing when they put Curse in this game. It's supposed to be difficult, it's supposed to be challenging, and it's supposed to feel discouraging at times. That's just the type of game it is. It's deliberate. An easy mode would throw that out of balance. This part might just be me, but I honestly don't even find RPG's easy modes that much easier than a normal difficulty until I level up. Because if I decide to grind in easy mode, that just breaks the game and turns everything into a joke. This might not occur in Dark Souls, since leveling up isn't emphasized quite as much as skill is, but there's still a risk of it getting way too overleveled for enemies and breezing through everyone in a way that removes all challenge. Easy mode isn't supposed to remove all challenge. Although, if this does happen, you know what you probably won't be able to breeze through? The bosses. You'll not be adjusted to fighting them in the slightest. Like, you won't even be adjusted to fighting anything that takes more than like 2 hits to kill. And you'll end up ruining your game because you tried to grind, which is a normal thing to do in RPGs. I'm kind of rambling here, but the point is, the clever ways the game balances it are getting thrown out of whack if you do this. So I found it important to draw a distinction here, specifically the distinction that this is not the same as accessibility options. I don't really think an easy mode should be counted in the category of accessibility. It's quite a broad term, so it's a little hard to define what accessibility really is, but the term is generally referred to in this context to mean a video game making itself easy to start playing for disabled people or people who might have a non-skill-based trouble in games. I just want to say, yes, there's a distinction between adding more accessibility options and adding an easy mode. I am in favor of any additional accessibility options that may benefit those who need them. Subtitle customization, HUD customization, audio cue settings, colorblind options, even assist modes that might better explain the mechanics. Those are all examples of things I welcome in any game, and you know what? If you can manipulate all these settings to end up with a really easy game, so be it. But here, the fact that elements are customizable is what sets it apart from an easy mode. I think we can all agree a game with tons of customizable accessibility options and no easy mode would be better than a game without accessibility options and an easy mode that merely lowers the difficulty in every area. So why not just go with the more customizable accessibility options without one of those options being a simple easy mode? I think that'd be a great way to make the game more approachable without sacrificing its difficulty balance. Now look, there's a stereotype about Dark Souls fans, one I believed was true before I really discovered this series, and that is they're very into the idea that you have to do everything on your own. Any question about the game will be answered by a resounding get good. There are some cases where I think that's true, absolutely. I remember the infamous I cheated in Sekiro controversy that was overblown on FromSoft fans' part. But overall, those are edge cases. That is not the overall truth. Because fans of the series are genuinely really helpful and incredibly nice if you come into it with the genuine mindset of wanting to self-improve and overcome a challenge. If you know where to look, you never have to be alone on your quest to beat Dark Souls. There are guides on how to beat everything with millions of views, extremely comprehensive wikis and game facts on nearly everything in the game. Dark Souls fans are really helpful, believe it or not, and I honestly think that's one of the reasons I've fallen in love with the series as a newcomer as much as I have. I suck at it. There are a lot of things about Dark Souls I don't know or haven't even realized. I'm just not that experienced at it. But I have been blown away with how much advice from the internet, or even friends I know in real life, have not only made it more approachable and accessible, but easier as well. Like what hopefully happens with any skill or hobby. You're not any less of like a violinist if you look up violin tutorials, so it's the same with video games. So to everybody who might not have ever really been able to get into the series, I urge you, look shit up more. Get more help. Follow a guide, letter by letter, if you really need it. You might just end up understanding the appeal like so many others do. And if you still don't after doing that, and still find yourself wishing for an easier game, good on you. I can't force you to stop believing that, even if I disagree with it. Just give it a shot though, at least. I'm like you, and that I suck at this game. God, someone's gonna somehow take offense to that statement. But but I still love it, and I think an easy mode would overall hinder the experience. That said, that's gonna be it for today, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.